Hey guys, my name's Rachel. I'm a student pilot. I nearly have my RPL, and if I was to restart all my training, these are 5 things that I would tell myself. And if you're a student pilot, you should listen as well, because the fifth one is something I really wish someone told me about before I started my training. All right, so the first tip is to make sure that you have the budget. Make sure you have the money before you actually start flying. I know everyone knows that flight training is not cheap, it is very expensive, just as expensive as, let's say, a university degree. But there are costs that you might not know that will creep up on you. For example, landing fees at the airport or instructor fees, which can even be much higher than the higher cost of the aircraft. So that's something you really want to keep in mind. I'll put in the exact numbers from zero flight hours to RPL on the side of the screen, but it will be somewhere in the tens of thousands of dollars. So just keep that in mind. The next tip is to buy your own equipment as soon as you can, especially if you know that you're going to keep flying for many years. The sooner you have your own reliable equipment, the better you will feel in the cockpit, and the less likely something bad's going to happen to you, when it probably would be nice if it didn't. For example, some of the headphones that I'd borrowed from my flight club, they're a bit dodgy. The transmission was it had a lot of static in it, and you could just tell that these things were about to break. So I know it's not cheap. My headphones were probably like 2,500 Australian dollars, but it is very much worth it to buy them early rather than later. Now, the third tip would be to ask as many questions as you can to your instructor. Also, if you're in the flight and you need help, or even if you're on the ground and you have an administrative question. There is no shame in asking questions, because everyone would much rather you ask the question, and even if it sounds silly, get the correct answer than keep it to yourself, do something stupid, and end up having to face the consequences. I know if I didn't ask my instructor questions about how to advance in my flight training, what I should do next, which theory I should do next, I would have made some really bad decisions. In fact, my instructor was the one who told me to do my PPL theory first before doing my RPL flight training. And what that's done is I don't have to do any RPL theory. I don't have to do a single exam for the next year and a half. So there you go. You will learn things that people won't just tell you. But if you ask the questions, you ask the correct questions about what I should do for this, what I'm doing wrong here, are there any shortcuts to this? People will tell you. They'll be more than happy to tell you. Now, the fourth tip is to buy a cockpit poster of your plane and get in the chair, start chair flying. You will see many aviation YouTubers on YouTube recommend to chair fly. What is that? Put the poster on your wall, get a chair, maybe it's in your bedroom, wherever it is, and you don't have anything to touch really, but you have the photo of the cockpit in front of you, and you can practice your flight. You can practice pretty much anything using a little bit of visualization and imagination. You'll be really well prepared for your flight. And it's not that immersive in the sense compared to a flight simulator, which I have, but I do think buying the full flight simulator setup is a bit overkill. In fact, when you chair fly, the point of it is just to keep repeating. When you take off, get to 300 feet, check back, start your turn at 500 AGL, make sure you're 45 from the runway. All of that stuff can be practiced in the chair, and the cockpit poster itself costs less than $100. So it's 100% worth it. It's all just to get that muscle memory, and you'll be very thankful of your past self once you're sitting in the plane for real. Now, the final tip. I really wish someone had told me this before I started my flight training, and that is, don't start your training with the flying. Instead, do your theory first. Let that sink in. Do all of your theory before you start flying. Say you want to go to the RPL level, do your first solo flight exam, do your first area solo exam, and do your RPL exam before you even log your first minute of flying. Now, this will prepare you a lot for potential emergencies, also just give you a better understanding of the aircraft that you're flying. And it's your responsibility as a pilot to be well informed about everything going on around you. That includes the weather, other traffic. You should be familiar with the proper way to communicate. I remember from my first lesson, my instructor goes, "Rishil, what are you most scared of?" And I said, "I don't want to do any radio talking. That's what I find really scary." And he's like, "All right, let's let you do all the radio calls." And that was my first flight, and you can imagine how scared I was. So you're probably wondering, "Rishil, what do I use to study for then?" Well, these are the Bob Tate RPL PPL study guide, both volume 1 and volume 2. And these are the best material, in my opinion, to study for your RPL up to the PPL level as well. And let's open up to the first page. There we go. Even in the first chapter is radio theory. Now, I didn't even get this book until like halfway through my training, but there is so much good stuff here. You can do all your exams because they have practice exams. Do all your practice exams. Everything you need to know is in this book and the other book, volume 1 and volume 2. And you can thank me later once you finish all your theory. So those are my 5 best tips for student pilots. If you have any questions, chuck them in the comments. My name's Rishil. Make sure you stay safe in the skies, and I'll see you later.